We all know that diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, smoking, family history, these are said to be important risk factors for coronary artery disease and stroke. But then today let us delve into a deeper layer of understanding of our risk factors. Family history is important, but then what is more important is to understand the maternal family history. Any early history of cardiac event in maternal side, in second degree or even third degree relative, becomes a risk factor for you. Other than that, one should also take cues from your own body, like frontal baldness in the early years of life, then early graying of hairs, then history of some kind of depression, anxiety, which has its inception early from the early years of life. Then having something like a central obesity, that is a fat tummy in an otherwise healthy, lean and thin individual, that you can elucidate by measuring the waist hip ratio, which if becomes more than 0.85 in females and 0.90 in male, becomes a very important risk factor. Then another very important tool that we have at our hand is ASCVD calculator. Just type ASCVD in the Google, feed all the data that it asks for, and what you get in return is a very astute risk factor magnitude in terms of numerical value. So getting all these acts together, if you find that your risk factor is high for cardiovascular event, take early control. So based on the risk factors that you have elucidated, one should stratify oneself whether one has high risk factors for cardiovascular disease. It is very important because this is a way to prevent the first manifestation of cardiovascular problem within you as a heart attack. So there are certain territories which we should take control of, like diet, exercise, de-stressing protocol, and some low-dose statin therapy if you're in the risk zone. So for dietary hacks, what we say is the present day concepts are you should take less of carbohydrates because they cause glucose spikes and they are not good for cardiovascular health. One should take a lot of fibers and proteins. They should get preference in terms of carbohydrate. And one should also avoid major meals at night because it is during the night time that anti-insulin hormones are more, and during the daytime the insulin or insulin-like hormones are secreted more in the body, which will take care of your carbohydrate. So to give an idea as to what to do, our breakfast in the early hours of the day should not include a lot of high carbohydrate because they cause glucose spikes. One can have a high carbohydrate like meal during the daytime, say in the mid part of the day in the form of your lunch. You should always start your heavy major meals of the day by taking salads so that it gives an idea of satiety right from the beginning, so you feel like you have eaten enough. And the last meal of your day should end by at least, if not more, by 7 p.m. So that's how one also can maintain a healthy gap of at least 12 hours for gut, and that's how the gut flora also gets time to regenerate and rejuvenate, and that is the way your enteric nervous system gets enabled to maintain a good cardiovascular health. The next in line is exercise. One should always go for slow, sustained, easy exercise in the beginning, like in the form of walking. And another thing is de-stressing protocol. For de-stressing protocol, what we say is you clutch onto some hobbies that you do. You develop and give values to your healthy relationships around. And then the next thing one should do is avoid stress at your workplace. And last but not the least, one who has a high ASCVD score, as I've already mentioned, one should also consult your own doctor, and one can easily get away with taking low-dose statins to halt the progress of atherosclerosis, which is already there within you if you are in the risk zone. So for any query, you can contact me in the information given below. Take care of your health, take early control of your life. Thank you.